First years, it was interesting. In the summer of '68, I had decided I was going to enroll at Indian Hills in Ottumwa, but that didn't seem to be the thing I wanted to do. And so I was talking to a former Muscatine graduate of the Feed and Fertilizer Management Program, and he was working for Sinclair Fertilizer in Richland. And he said, why don't you go up and talk to the people at Muscatine? He said, I graduated from that program and I thought it was a great program, so why don't you give that a shot? And so I went up in the middle of the summer and I talked to an Everett Clover, and Everett Clover at the time was the head of the program, and decided that I thought was my niche, and maybe my future plans in life evolved around ag business. And so I enrolled, and that summer I started the program, and we went to school 6 weeks, and then we were out in the ag business world 6 weeks. And ironically, I started working for the Sinclair Fertilizer Company back in my hometown of Richland for 2 6-week periods, and then the next year I happened to work at the Double Circle Co-op for 2 6-week periods that I ended up in life working for and managing after that.
I became a student here at MCC because a guy named Marshall McDonald came to my high school, Hedrick Community High School, and sold the program to me on the basis of, hey, you can go to school for a little bit of the time and then you can go out and work in the real world for a little bit of the time and make some money that it would cost you as far as college education. You could make that back up, so debt-free degree, and that's the way it was brought forth by him to me.
When I was here, the farm management program had an instructor by the name of Virgil Schmidt, and there was another person by the name of Steve Krogmeyer, who I replaced when I came here. And then there was a teacher by the name of Gary Apel, who I had as a teacher when I was here. And then there was Walter Mitchley, who was probably my most important instructor when I was here, because he helped me tremendously with getting not only my education, but also finding work employment experiences while I was here and full-time employment when I graduated.
I wasn't in a very good place. I was kind of lost, and an alum actually cared about me quite a bit. Pretty much forced me to contact Marshall McDonald, and at that point I had no idea what I wanted to do, and it did not take very long once I was in the program and I had direction. I was back on track. The ability to learn something in the classroom and then quickly turn around and be able to apply it while you're on an internship, and that's what sets it apart. And you go into the industry when you graduate already knowing what's expected of you. You're prepared to do the things that are expected of you. Kind of a side effect of that is you meet all these people in the industry, so you've networked with a ton of people, outside of the career fair setting. You're actually in the business while they're doing what they do day to day. And you can't pick that up at a career fair or an interview or anything like that. That has to be experienced, and a program like MCC bridges that gap between a high school graduate and a full-blown ag industry employee so well that it's almost a seamless transition.
I never wanted to come into a classroom to just talk about us. I always wanted to have some reason why they would want me to come into the classroom. So I used my experiences in work experience, and I also used my profession as a commodities broker, and I would come in and do mini sessions for them for high school ag students. And Paul and Marshall have always been really good about having a good network with the high school instructors. So I would come in, I would talk a little bit about whatever topic we had chosen, and then left with them saying, you can do this with a degree in ag from Muscatine Community College. And I thought that was very well received, and I feel like I still have really good relationships with all those people.
When I first started working here as a faculty member, I talked a lot with the ag faculty members. Even though I grew up in Iowa, I really didn't know a lot about agriculture. So what are you trying to accomplish in your program, and where do your students go to work when they're finished with the program? And from that, when I moved into the business and industry role and helping with career tech education, I continued to talk to the ag faculty because I thought they had a great model for how they recruited students, how they trained students in a very practical way with hands-on training, paid work experience, the close relationship they had with business and industry. I thought that was a model that I tried to use in other programs that I worked with.
Well, I started in '78 and was here for 10 years. In 1978, it was the, so to speak, the end of what a lot of people call the go-go years in agriculture. And we went from that then into the farm crisis years of the mid-'80s. And so those were a little bit dismal times. But I think through that time, we had, I think, first of all, some excellent students. I got to know a lot of their families also. And through those times, they maintained their enthusiasm and their optimism that better times were ahead. And I very much appreciated that. The other is that I shared an office with somebody else my entire time here. The first 2 years were with a fellow by the name of Steve Krogmeyer. And then after that, the next 8 years were with Marshall McDonald. And I couldn't have asked for two better office mates. We all got along great. We all had, I think, really good senses of humor. We shared one phone for most of the time, and I think each of us had the long cord wrapped around the other one's neck at least once at that time, but we did get along very well.
As a student that just graduated from college, I was still working on my master's thesis. And I remember when I came here, I was teaching 5 classes a day, 5 days a week, different subjects, 5 different subjects, 5 hours a day for 5 days a week up until the work experience starts. And it was fun to be with all the other colleagues teaching in agriculture, but very busy. And the nice thing was that the professors that I had when I was a student here were still here, so they could tutor me, show me the ropes, guide me, and they were definitely mentors for me for at least the first 2 or 3 years.
Well, it has changed a lot. Of course, at this point, in my career, I'm a little bit hesitant to talk about back in the dark ages and so forth, but as I think back to the very beginning, we were still moldboard plowing, and we were just starting to use chemicals. And now, of course, we're at a point of where we don't even really pretty much know what a moldboard plow is anymore. We chisel plow or conservation till. We're very chemically oriented. We, of course, now are into GPS, GIS, those kinds of things which we didn't have in the past. So there was that change. Back in the 1970s, that was what a lot of people call the go-go years of agriculture. And that's when I came here, was in the late 1970s. And then in the 80s, we had the farm crisis at that point. Things were really pretty dismal, so we kind of worked our way through that. And then we went through the most recent times here, about 2010 to 14, right along in there, where we had some just really good prices and a lot of profits in farming. And now we're trending back again a little bit. And so it's been a very interesting ride.
In my opinion, I'm not sure the goal has changed that much in 50 years, but how you get people to that well-trained, competent worker that then goes out into industry has changed. The use of technology, global positioning systems, and precision agriculture, the need for people to have at least a good working knowledge of Microsoft Office applications. I think probably technology has driven most of the changes to the program.
The thing that keeps coming to the forefront every time we speak with industry is the soft skills. 20 years ago, it wasn't important to talk to people like it is today. And even by today's standards, where people aren't talking as much because of technology, what it really comes down to is in agriculture, it's still people working with people. And we don't have enough time to take somebody with bad habits and turn them into a polished professional just simply because of time. But one thing that has changed as dramatically as technology is the increased importance of those soft skills and people skills that you can't get a job with if you don't have them.
Well, I tell people if you can sell sheep feed, you can sell anything. So yeah, because in the profession that I had as a recruiter, most of those people came through traditional higher ed. And I would be the only one in the room with a degree in feed and fertilizer marketing. So yeah, I think that taught me those sales classes, the human relations classes. We do some marketing and advertising, obviously the commodities brokering. All of those classes, I use those skills today. I had even taught some speech classes years ago here. And it all goes back to what I learned in Marshall's sales classes. I use it every day.
And one of the greatest memories that I don't think I will ever forget is the study abroad that I did while I was here. Marshall and another student and I went to Denmark and spent about a month over there. And just the ability to see the world from the perspective of another country with a specific mindset of we're going to observe, in that case it was renewable energy and sustainable agriculture. And going in there with that mindset really opens up your eyes to the different ways the world works and different ways people think about things. And that was probably my most memorable experience at MCC.
Yeah, I took students to Denmark at various trips through a grant, and they actually stayed on farms in Denmark, either on dairy farms or swine operations with a family. So we didn't go there and just stay in a motel. The instructors were on a farm and each individual student was on an individual different farm. So it took a lot of coordination with all of our contacts that we had in Denmark. And at one time I had as many as 20 students that were there from various colleges. And meeting people and developing important relationships with them from other countries is definitely a very rewarding experience, and I'm very grateful for that.
We belong to DECA, which was a national sales organization, and I had become the state president. So that was an interesting year to travel to the other schools. We did a lot at DMAC. We did the national and the state conference. So I'd say the travel is probably where most of our stories lie, of funny things that happened. But I have to say, I had come here from Ohio and realized I had been engaged to someone and we weren't going to get married, and I was too stubborn to go home. So Paul and Marshall raised me. They found me a job, they found me a place to live, they made sure I had transportation, I set up carpooling for me so I could get back and forth to class and to work experience. And if it hadn't been for them, I wouldn't have completed. And I really felt in all the years since that I owed the ag department consideration in everything that I did. So even when I'm out now, I still talk about the ag program because I just really feel like it's more than just classroom. And the work experience does add that extra level, but it's the people that work in that department that make a difference in the students' lives. And I'm still proud to be associated with that.
As far as memorable moments or noteworthy moments as an instructor, yeah, you have all kinds of successes each and every day inside the classroom, networking with someone in the industry. Those are all big moments for me. But the travel and the student organizations and competitions and the ability to leave Muscatine and represent the college and represent the individual and represent the program in a professional manner.
PAS is an organization that provides a competition with other students in events that are fairly relevant to what we do every day, whether it's crop judging or general knowledge or, developing people skills, communication skills. There's an interview event that, is going to prepare you to sit down and have a conversation with an employer. My personal favorite is the career planning and career progress. It helps you lay out goals. For the future of the ag program, I would like to see just a continuation of what they're currently doing. They've been very good at progressing with the times. You look at what a student looked like back in the 80s to today, not a lot has changed in the student as far as what they are doing in the ag industry. The only difference is the times have changed, and we do things as an industry differently. So, MCC has adapted and has made the pertinent changes to continue to educate properly.
Well, I would like to have it continue on the idea of the classroom learning and the work experience so they can develop skills, and working with business and industry, because it's all tied together. But as technologies change and the science of agriculture changes, the agriculture teachers, the agriculture program has to stay abreast of what's going on new in the industry. And that may require particular types of equipment that the students aren't familiar with, that are very specialized, that they have to get training in. It could be particular types of certifications. And we want to make sure that when an employer is hiring a student, that they have the licensing or certification to be able to work in the industry. And that's something that you do not necessarily get by going on to a four-year school or having a master's degree. You have to have the skill. You have to have the practice.
Oh, I would love to see an international emphasis. So a person who would come here, and we've always had international students in ag. When I was here, there were some people from Honduras. There was a gentleman from Cameroon, Africa. There was a couple different German students who came in and out of the program just while I was here. So we've always been very internationally friendly, but I would love for MCC to be a destination where they actually get an international ag experience.
Well, when I was here, I felt like that it helped me be able to meet people and greet people, and helped me to be a little more extroverted. And I felt like the program was a great program. That it got us out. It got us out in the real world of working with people and dealing with people. And I feel like that my life changed because of this program by just being more assertive and less timid. And those were things that I took out of this program mainly, is just how to meet and greet and work with people. And today I feel like if the program's doing the same thing, that's wonderful.
I know they had a goal of 50 students in the program in 2015, and they met that goal. I'd just like to see it continue to grow, to stay with that emphasis of a practical work-based education where the students have 4 paid work experiences during their time at MCC. Not only does it give them a foundation, a great educational basis for their future career, but it also helps them earn money to pay their tuition. Theoretically, they leave with low or no student debt. I think just staying with the model that they have and keeping in contact with industry, so as the industry needs change, they're able to change with that.
Well, I guess I would like to see it, continue to grow, continue to move in new directions. Obviously, agriculture is a lot different now than it was when I was young. When I was young, we were still moldboard plowing. We were just starting to get into, agricultural chemicals and so forth. Nobody had ever even heard of GPS, and now we're into GPS, GIS, big data, and so forth. And I think, if MCC is going to be preparing students for that future, they've got to be able and willing to really jump into all the technology and all the other kinds of sciences that go with that in order to really be able to jump in and hang on and get ahead.
And certainly right now, today, while MCC is celebrating 50 years of the Ag Department, this will be our 3rd year of down net farm income. But there's still jobs out there. High school counselors, parents, high school instructors, elementary, junior high instructors need to know that even though agriculture is right now getting a little bit of bad press, there are too many jobs for the students that go into agriculture.
As I would travel around the district and I would go to visit different businesses, different industries, or I would meet people who were alums of the college, many would say, well, I graduated from the ag program, or they would have a family member that graduated from the ag program here at MCC. And the pride that they felt being a part of that program was readily apparent. And they would always talk about what a good program it was, how that helped them or helped a family member find a niche or a job that they really enjoyed and continued with for many, many years. And then it's very hard not to be proud of the program when you have so many people excited about their association with the program and with the faculty members.
I don't think I'd probably been where I'm at today if it hadn't have been for this program. And I would tell the students to apply themselves and go out and get every bit of knowledge they can from people that are out in the world doing it now, the managers of wherever they're working, the employees of wherever they're working, and pay attention and understand how the ins and outs of their business is being run. And the instructors will help you with the knowledge you need to know about feed, fertilizer, and agricultural products. So the program today, if it's focusing like it was back then, and I'm sure it is a great program that I would recommend to any student interested in agriculture.
Cool. I think, first of all, the program here, I think as everybody knows, was one of the first 2 that were started in the state of Iowa. It has a great history. It's not the largest one. It's not the fanciest one. But I believed when I came here, I believed when I left, and I still believe that if it's not the best, it's right up there among the best here, just in terms of the quality of education that people receive while they're here. That gives the people here a real leg up when they're going out looking for jobs or when they go back onto the farm. And I just encourage people to keep moving forward, keep on doing the good work if you're a faculty person, if you're a student. Listen, pay attention, be enthusiastic. Good things will come to you with what you are receiving here.
I think it's a great program. As I said, I used it as a model for recruitment and co-op and job placement for programs that I worked with. And I think the highest form of flattery is imitation. So I tried to imitate what they did in my work. And I think highly of the program, and I wish the current faculty and the graduates the best.
It's funny how often I come across people who, in unrelated situations, are part of the MCC Ag family. And I'm very proud to be a part of that and to be a part of that still. And the support that those graduates show the Ag program are truly what make it successful, especially when you talk about placing students, getting them work experiences, getting them full-time employment. It's that network of this family that it doesn't matter. I married a graduate of 1978 in the Ag program, so we literally are family when you think about it that way. And I'm proud to be a part of it. I love that I came here. I love the people I've met here, and they have become lifelong friends.
It made a huge difference in my life, and I know that our program makes a huge difference in the lives of lots of agriculturalists. To have been a part of that, to be a part of the agricultural history and the history of faculty that were lucky enough to come here and teach and be a part of it as a family, I'm very grateful for. And I'll always be appreciative. And I wish all the future students great success, as well as future agriculture instructors.